KDNC family, I hope all is well with you. It is Tuesday. We are chugging through the week, and I hope everybody is off to a great week thus far. Today, we are going to talk about immigration again in Canada, but a little bit different. We're going to talk about a new bill that's passed called Bill C-3. And this bill basically allows people who have family members that were born in Canada, whether it's mama, papa, grandmama, grandpapa, great grandmother, great grandpapa, everybody qualifies to potentially become a Canadian citizen. So what we have noticed since this bill was passed is that a lot of Americans, specifically the folks, more of the Americans that are the folks, are taking advantage of this because they want to come to Canada and they want to get their Canadian citizenship. Now, because this law is passed, how many Americans potentially can get a Canadian citizenship? Are you guys ready? At least 10 million. At least 10 million Americans can qualify for getting their Canadian citizenship. All right. So basically, it's like you get a citizenship and you get a citizenship and you get a citizenship. So Americans are really flooding to go and check and see what their ancestry is to see if they can qualify to become a Canadian citizen. So let's just take a look at this video real quick that has the folks, because the folks are, as I said, are really taking advantage of this, okay? So let's just take a look at this and then we'll get into what Bill C-3 really is. And, I'll give you a little tutorial about it in case any of my American brothers and sisters may have some family members that were born here that they may be able to get their citizenship as well. So let's just watch.
This affinity for Canada.
Her grandfather was born in British Columbia, but her father never got his citizenship, and so she never qualified to get hers until now.
When this new bill was proposed, I already had all my documents ready.
The new bill is the so-called Lost Canadians legislation, which passed the House of Commons last week. It means citizenship can be passed down to people born or adopted abroad beyond the first generation. It comes after a 2009 law limiting how citizenship was passed down was deemed unconstitutional by Ontario Superior Court.
Given the current state of the United States administration, I think it's important to kind of have that in the back pocket.
Caitlin Murphy is a midwife in upstate New York whose maternal great-grandparents were Canadian. She received her Canadian citizenship earlier this year under interim changes made while the legislation was working its way through Parliament, and plans to move to Canada in the next 2 years.
Over the past however many years, it's just kind of been reaffirmed to me, like this is not the place that is supportive of our beliefs.
Immigration consultants have seen a surge in interest in Canadian citizenship, but caution, it's not a rubber stamp.
It's not sort of a free-for-all type of an application, but I think it's still worth attempting for many people who see that they have either parent, grandparent, great-grandparent who may have been born in Canada.
There you have it. A parent, great-grandparent, grandparent, born in Canada. Also, if you have an adopted child and you're born in Canada, all of those things now, they've amended this bill. And as you heard initially, when under Stephen Harper, which is one of our former prime ministers, it was only first generational, right? So if you had a direct parent and that was it, like you didn't have the grandparent, great grandparent, none of that factored into it. But they felt like it was unconstitutional, as Canada is saying, and basically an antiquated way of doing things. So now everybody who has a family member that's born here has the opportunity to apply and see if you can be a Canadian citizen. With everything that's going on with immigration right now, the fact that they've even passed this is, I don't even get the logic at all, because we are like so saturated with immigrants and what have you. I don't understand the logic, period. But nevertheless, this is the new thing that's happening now. This is the new thing that has, I think at this point, from what I last checked, at least 2,500 Americans have applied to see if they have, if they qualify for citizenship. So that's what's going on here. Okay, let me just see what you guys are all saying here. Hey, Teresa, how you doing? Del Monte Green Beans, you said nope. So I guess you don't have any Canadian relatives here. McQueen, you said you can't. Good afternoon, Andre. You said you don't have Canadian ancestry. Hi, Kai B. Thanks so much for tuning in. Anonymous Persona. How about straight to Europe? Okay, well, listen, I don't know about all that, but I know Canada, you have a chance if you got some ancestry here. And if there's somebody Canadian in your bloodline. Hey, Buckhorse, how you doing? Hey, Revolution, nice to see you. So let's look at the whole process now. So I think it's important for anybody who's interested in looking to see if they, qualify. So Bill C-3 is a major shift in Canada's citizenship law that opens the door for people with Canadian ancestry, especially Americans, to reclaim citizenship through their family line. So we're going to walk through it. So what Bill C-3 actually does. So Bill C-3 removes the rule that limited citizenship to only one generation born outside Canada. Before this, if your Canadian parent was also born outside Canada, you were cut off. Now that barrier is gone, allowing citizenship to pass through multiple generations. Why this matters for Americans? About 10 million, as I said, Americans have Canadian ancestry, but were previously excluded. Under Bill C-3, if you can trace your lineage to a Canadian parent, grandparent, or even great-grandparent, you may already qualify as a Canadian citizen without going through immigration. Did you guys hear that? It's like a line bypass. So here's an example. Imagine you were born in the United States. Your parent is American born, but your grandmother was born in Toronto. Under the old law, you would not qualify. But under Bill C-3, you can now apply to be recognized as a Canadian citizen. There you go. And so now with a great-grandparent example, if your great-grandfather was Canadian, but your family has lived in the United States for generations, you may still qualify as long as you can prove the family connection through official documents. Citizenship can now flow through the lineage. So how does the process work? It's not a traditional immigration process. You're not asking Canada to accept you. You are proving that you already have a legal claim. This involves gathering birth records, connecting each generation, and applying for a citizenship certificate. So here are the documents that you would need. Applicants must build a clear chain of evidence. This includes your birth certificate, your parents, your grandparents, and proof that your ancestor was a Canadian citizen. The stronger and clearer your documentation, the smoother the process. So, for children born after December 2025, Canada introduced a safeguard. A Canadian parent must have lived in Canada for at least 3 years before passing citizenship. So this ensures future generations maintain a real connection to the country. So they put it at the date of after December 2025. So basically last December. So that's the safeguard they put in place. So again, the Canadian parent must have lived in Canada for at least 3 years before passing citizenship. So we need to make sure we put that context in there. So that's the future rule. So the future generation rule example, if a Canadian citizen lives their entire life in the United States and never resides in Canada, they may not be able to pass citizenship to their child born abroad after 2025. However, if they spend 3 years living in Canada, their child qualifies. So there's the the future generation rule. There has to be a 3-year period where you're residing in Canada, and then your child would qualify. So, why did Canada make this change? This reform came after legal challenges argued the old system unfairly excluded people based on technicalities. So basically, they're calling that first generation only a technicality. Canada responded by modernizing its citizenship laws and restoring rights to families who had been cut off. So again, as we were saying, it was only first generational, but there are a lot of people in America that have great grandparents and grandparents that are Canadian citizens, were born here and all and what have you. So they felt like, oh, that's not fair. They should have the opportunity. They should have a shot as well if they have grandparents and great grandparents that lived here. So that's kind of what it is. So what opportunities does this create for Americans? This could mean access to living and working in Canada, lower tuition for education, healthcare access, and we know what the healthcare system's like in the United States versus Canada. And I'll just talk a little bit about the differences because, again, I've been to both. Here, the way the healthcare works is, let's just say, for example, I don't know, I've been having stomach pain or whatever the case may be. And I go to my doctor and I'm like, doctor, I've been suffering with this stomach pain, literally just writing out a requisition, right? For blood work, for an ultrasound, for an x-ray, whatever tests. And I would just go to a lab and get it all done. And the results will go back to my doctor. I've not paid a dime, not a single dime. All I did was present it's called a OHIP card. So, so that's all I would do. I would present the card and then they would do their thing and I would walk out. Or say there was an emergency situation where, I ended up in the ER. Same thing. If I went to the ER, I would just get my test done, get my blood work done. If they wanted to do an MRI or a CT scan, you name it, everything will be done there. And I would just leave. So I don't have to worry about a $30,000 bill or what have you. Do you have health insurance? Yes or no? If I needed to be admitted into the hospital, I would be admitted into the hospital and I wouldn't walk out with a bill. The only bill that I would have to be worried about in the hospital is if I wanted to watch TV. That costs a little bit of money. You got to pay for that or Wi-Fi. Otherwise than that, you get your test done, you stay in the hospital, and you leave. All right. So that stress is not a thing that happens here. I have a lot of American friends that will say things to me like, I want to go to the doctor, but I have to look and see how much is it going to cost me based on my health insurance. This isn't covered. That isn't covered. None of that is a thing. So back to this, if you had the opportunity to be living and working in Canada, you have healthcare access as well and the ability to hold dual citizenship. So it essentially opens a second national identity. So, this is something to look at, right? So concerns and criticism, because there are always some critics argue that this law allows people with little connection to Canada to gain citizenship. Others believe it strengthens Canada's global community and corrects historical injustices. So that's it. Here's the key takeaway. Bill C-3 expands citizenship eligibility across generations, especially benefiting Americans with Canadian ancestry. However, future rules ensure that citizenship continues to reflect a meaningful connection to Canada. So, final thought. This is more than paperwork. It's about a belonging. Canada has effectively told thousands of people that their connection was always valid. Now the law finally reflects that reality. So that is where we're at, family. You get a citizenship, and you get a citizenship, and you get a citizenship. I'm channeling my Oprah. So this is the opportunity that Americans have now. So I just have a question to my brothers and sisters. Who's coming? Who's checking their ancestry? Curious. Anybody think that they have some Canadian ancestry here? If so, I will tell you what the process is to find out if you do, because I know that there are a lot of, as I said, a lot of the folks are doing the work. They're checking into it, Ancestry and Me and whatever have you. So just to read here what it is so you can use online tools such as immigration.ca, Citizenship by Descent Calculator, or the CIC News Assessment Tool. So those are 3 that you can use, right away to check eligibility based on parents or grandparents. Then you gather your documentation, assemble birth certificates, as I said, marriage records and citizenship records for the ancestor and subsequent generations to prove the lineage, right? Because you do have to prove it. And then you have to demonstrate substantial connection. So if required, provide proof that the grandparent lived in Canada for at least 1,095 days, 3 years, before your birth, right? So that would include things like school records, employment records, or travel records, right? And then you can apply for proof of citizenship. So you submit your application for a citizenship certificate to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. So that's the IRCC. So that's where you would submit. So to apply for proof of citizenship, I'm just repeating. And then alternative identification, you can use resources like Genealogy Quebec for finding historical records, or check the official government website to apply. So that's how you can find out. That's how you can find out if you qualify and you have the opportunity to be a Canadian citizen, potentially a dual citizen, and you can get the benefits of lower tuition, as I said, and healthcare and all of those things that they like to call free healthcare, but technically it's not free. It's great that you don't have to worry about all of those expenses, but it's taken out in your taxes. Just because the taxes here in Ontario, 13%. Okay. So anything you're buying, 13% tax. And that's a lot. So imagine if you're buying something for $100, you're paying $113, so that's, and then the more it is, the more it costs. So, sorry, the higher the taxes are. That's what I mean. So, that's something to consider as well. But definitely, if you are interested, my brothers and my sisters, because I'm only seeing the folks taking advantage of this. Where are my brothers and sisters at? I love my American brothers and sisters. I wouldn't mind if you had a Canadian citizenship and come through. Come on, pull up. Rosalind, you said your mom is a Canadian. Okay. So you have an opportunity, Rosalind, to become a Canadian citizen, and you get a citizenship. The Rock, you said, I got family up from the Nova Scotia Black people. Oh, wow. Okay. Africville. Yep, that's Nova Scotia. That's nice. Hey, Sunlight, how you doing? Bugoliad Adventures, you said amazing. Shalom, Wandiaki. So you said you got family up there from Nova Scotia. Wow. They're in Halifax. Okay, nice. Coco, you said there's no housing. Yeah, we do have, well, this is what I'm saying in regards to the immigration crisis. We do have a housing crisis for sure. So you're right. There's a housing issue, but I will say this. There are houses that you can get into. You just got to be prepared to pay, That's all. But housing exists. It does. We have a housing crisis, but there are houses. And the housing crisis is more linked to just the affordability right now. People are struggling to pay their mortgages and their rent and what have you. So that's where the crisis really lies. And then also they're not building enough for the amount of immigrants that are here. So it's not matching. It's not balanced. So those are the two things that we're dealing with. Oh, thank you, Bugoliad Adventures. You are most welcome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I was happy about it because I would love to see my American brothers and sisters here. There's at least 1 million that live here now. I don't mind more. So go do your testing and find out. Carrie Wright, you're saying, don't they have problems with black people? Yeah, it exists here just like it exists in the United States. We sure do have those issues here. Yes, we do. But you know what? Power in numbers. All right. So, McQueen, you said after my son was born, he had to be airlifted from the hospital and he was born to Duke University. That was oh Lord, a $10,000 bill. Okay, so McQueen, let me just talk to you for a second. That's what I'm talking about. If that were to happen here, you wouldn't have that bill. You wouldn't. Your son would be airlifted and all those things would happen and they would take care of him. Right? So that's kind of how it is here. Definitely. Beverly White, you said you want to go to Canada at least to visit. Hey, why don't you come to the ADNC Narrative Power Summit on July 25th? And then you can visit and you'll be able to meet us all, the whole team, right? Phil Scott, Demetra Kay, Wangel Zalalam. It's the perfect time to come. And we could all get together. So come on, the link is in the description field. I was going to get to that, but since you already brought it up, I said, hey, let me just mention it. McQueen, yeah, check. You never know. It's just like how people do their checks and they find out they're like a percentage of Nigerian or Ghanaian or whatever. Yeah, check it out and see if you have some Canadian ancestry. Yes, but of course I was channeling Oprah. So Scataman, you're saying be careful using a DNA test. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you should be careful with any test. You should always be careful. So Lala Brown, you said, why would Canada want Black Americans? Well, this is what I was saying. On one end, they're trying to deport a whole bunch of people. And then on the other end, they're making it easy for people to become Canadian citizens. So I don't get the logic, but I'm okay with my American brothers and sisters coming here now. That I'm okay with. I'm good. Harmony sees you. Would love to have dual citizenship with Canada, but I'm pretty sure my people are all descendants of American freedmen. Hey, that's okay. You could still come and visit, sis. We'll be happy to have you. So Aubrey, you're saying Canada's number 4 with the best healthcare and Taiwan is number 1. Yeah, I mean, Canada has decent healthcare. I can't lie about that. I mean, I've got parents in their mid 80s. We got family members. You just never know what can happen, what's around the corner. So it's good to not have that stress, that added stress, as I said, of, who wants to be in a situation where you're suffering with something health-wise and you've got to sort of weigh the consequences and weigh the financial strain of, okay, should I go? And if I go, how much is it going to cost me? Like, you don't want all of that. So it's pretty decent to be able to just go to a doctor. The only challenge that we face here where that's concerned is that things take a little longer. For example, if I went to the ER, sometimes you can be there for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours just waiting because the ER is packed and you got one doctor working it. And then you got, the nurses and stuff, but you got like one doctor working in the ER and you got a whole bunch of people out there. You got a whole bunch of people inside being treated. And so, here you can go online to all the hospitals and you can see what the wait times are. And then based on that, you can make a decision which hospital you're going to go to. That is, the one negative, I would say, is the wait times. But at least you don't have to worry about wait times and how much is it going to cost me, right? So that's, there's a bit of a shortage issue and definitely delays is a problem for sure. And even if you have to see a specialist, sometimes you have to wait some months to see a specialist for whatever it is, your doctor has referred you for. Those are the drawbacks. So yeah. Anytime you give your blood, you can get your DNA. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Black men, you need to go to the doctor more. Please do so. please go to the doctor. Definitely take care of yourselves. There are a lot of Black men that just do not want to go to a doctor. That is true. Ilion 10. I agree with you there. So yeah, this is the just in another big beautiful bill that has passed here in the Great White North. McQueen, you're saying it's like that here where I live. People who are seen the fastest are children, pregnant women, and people who are having serious emergencies. Yeah, because when you go to the hospital, you go to triage. Their triage nurse is the one who decides the level of urgency. So they have a number system, right? And based on that is when you know your name is being called. And I'll tell you what, here, as long as you're conscious and your vitals are good, you'll sit. And there have been several people who have passed away in the ER room, okay? More than 23,000 last year, to be exact. So that's to tell you how things can be a little dicey. But again, you don't have to worry about the added pressure of paying for it on top of everything else. So, Isaac, you said MAGA is moving to Canada. What about making America great again? Oh, yeah. By the way, they call the Canadians here that are lovers of Trump Maple MAGA. Just so you know, hashtag Maple MAGA. So, and there are a lot of Trump lovers here in Canada, and people who in America who are leaving, like the one woman in the video we just played who's saying that America is not basically aligning with her beliefs and what have you. And that's why she's taking advantage of her citizenship to come to Canada. She's not a Maple MAGA, but we have some Maple MAGAs here. They sure do. And they are coming here. And yes, McQueen, that's what they're called, Maple MAGA, because like we were talking about in yesterday's live stream, maple syrup and Canada is synonymous for having the best ever in the business, okay? The best maple syrup. So people who love Trump here in Canada are called Maple MAGA. So, Isaac, to your point about MAGA moving to Canada, I guess they want to take advantage of the citizenship now that they know that there may be some Canadian lineage in their bloodline, right? So the Maple MAGA are coming here, and the Maple MAGA that already exists here are here. And, honestly, to be very honest with you, I have a lot of friends who are married to Americans, and they moved here. The American moved here to be with their husband or their wife, and none of those Americans want to go back to America. They love Canada, like they love it, okay? Their American spouse would love to go back, or sorry, their Canadian spouse would love to go to America, and they're like, no, I'm staying right here in Canada. I love it. So there, as I said, there's a million plus Americans that live here now, and they love it. They absolutely love it. So Moon Willow, you said as long as they don't come here with their racism. Yeah, well, sadly, it exists here. Just go see about me and all of the reports that I've done about the anti-Black racism here in Canada. It exists. Tomorrow I'll be covering one. The next day after that, I'll be covering another one, because I will be intentional about making sure that I cover the racism here in Canada so that you all have a good idea of what you can expect. But I will say this on a positive note: Canada is a beautiful country. It is. As a visitor coming to Canada, you will love it. There's no doubt in my mind you will love it here. But it's important to know everything about what Canada has to offer before you decide you want to be a Canadian citizen. So it'll be my pleasure to keep you abreasted. But I just want to give you a brief little synopsis on what Bill C-3 is really about and how you can go about applying to see if you are qualified to be a Canadian citizen, and literally you get a line bypass. So to my American brothers and sisters, as I said, I love y'all. So hey, if you got some grandparents, grandpappy, grandmommy, a mommy or anybody like along that lineage that was born in Canada, you got a shot. Aubrey, you said you're going to Accra. I'm with you. Let's go. Ghana all day. That's my country. And I have any intentions on going to. Anyhow, family, thank you so much for tuning in. Before I love you and leave you, I'm just going to remind you that if you haven't already done this, please make sure to do so. And you know what it's going to be? Grab the African Diaspora News Channel app.
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke.
We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
You heard it. Grab the African Diaspora News Channel app today and have exclusive access to wonderful content you won't see here, and then also first dibs on the content that you will see here. So grab the app. We appreciate all that have already grabbed the app, and we welcome all who have not yet, and we appreciate you as well. So thank you so much. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is I touched on it briefly, but we'll talk about it a little more, which is the ADNC Narrative Power Summit. And that's taking place here on July 25th in Toronto. So to all of you all that may have Canadian citizenship, hey, here's your chance to find out and see that, whether or not you're a citizen and have an easier time coming over, right? So come on through. Grab the tickets. As I said, the link is in the description field of this broadcast, and you have the opportunity to meet all of these wonderful people that represent Black excellence. So we expect to see you there. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Take advantage of it. You have the opportunity to walk the black carpet, take pictures, create beautiful memories, meet us all, take pictures with us, just hang out, get some good music, good food, good vibes, beautiful venue, beautiful time of year. I mean, it's just nothing but beautiful Black excellence, Black empowerment, blackly black, just beautiful. So we expect to see you all there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I shall see you tomorrow. Until then, please be safe, everyone.